Hello, I'm Catherine and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if this is a return visit. So for my September Shop My Stash, I picked a high-end group and a drugstore group of products, just like I did in August. But last month I did a get ready with me on YouTube with my high-end products. This time I want to do a get ready with me with the drugstore products that I picked. So that is what I'm going to do. So I want to start with primer. For some reason when I filmed that video, I didn't pick a primer and I don't know why. So I went back and I picked the one that I would have picked, which is this new one that I have from Wet n Wild. It is their Impossible Primer, and it is the one silicone free primer that does it all. And I have been using this a little bit, and I will tell you, it has kind of that silicone-y feel, very gel-like. And I find that I just rub it between fingers and I just use it mainly here where I have larger pores. So wherever you might have a few larger pores, this is a nice one. So I mostly use it right here on my nose and around my chin and a little bit here. Sort of in the T-zone, but I don't need it all over the forehead. And this works well. It definitely helps the makeup stay in place better on that part of your skin, which is really nice. So I've been enjoying this from Wet n Wild. The foundation that I picked this month is from Wet n Wild, and it is their Photo Focus foundation, but in the dewy formula. I recently just picked up the regular formula of this because I'm really finding that I'm liking a more matte finish. I'm really finding I'm enjoying a more matte finish with my foundations, but I really like this foundation. It comes with this little paddle, so you just kind of, this is what I do, just kind of place it all over. It has kind of a smell. I don't know really what the smell, but it subsides. I'm using this Morphe M439 to buff this into the skin. This is a lovely foundation from the drugstore. It's really nice. I'm always glad when I get to go back to something that I haven't used for a while. Just so you know, my shade in this is Shell Ivory, and I like this very much. It wears well. Of course, it is the more dewy formula. I want to try, like I said, I just got the more matte, and I'd like to kind of try that in comparison. Maybe I'll do kind of a wear test with these two this month, just to compare. But I do really like this foundation, and I feel like it's just a lovely foundation to have. For concealer, I picked this Maybelline Superstay. This is their full coverage under eye concealer, and I have been playing with this a little bit and enjoying it very much. It is a nice concealer. I'm comparing it, my high end is the Jouer full coverage, so I wanted another full coverage to really give a good comparison. But you can see the coverage here is really very nice. This is a little bit more hydrating than the Jouer, but I do find you need a little bit more to get the coverage that you want. So there's definitely a payoff. It's not quite as full coverage as the Jouer. I'm going to add a little bit more for the darkness. So you can see it does a nice job. It's not creasing as of yet, but I will definitely set this with a little bit of the powder that we have later. But it's very nice. This is a nice concealer. I don't know about full coverage because it's not full coverage like right off the bat, but you can build it to a more full coverage. My eye primer that I chose, unfortunately, I cannot find it anywhere to link it for you guys. I mean, I'll use it in this video, but I guess I picked an outdated product, and it was this one from Catrice called their Eye Foundation. And to be honest, it's just an okay product anyway, so that's probably why they don't make it anymore. But I will use it just because if you were curious, or if you have this and you were looking forward to seeing me use it. But it just kind of gives a sheer wash of color with a little bit of luminescence. It's not bad, but it's not like the best eyeshadow primer that I've ever used. For powder, I picked this NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop mattifying powder. I've really been enjoying this. I think this is a nice powder. I am in the shade Light, so it does have a shade to it. And I'm just gonna go in with this Milani brush and kind of, particularly around my nose, set, but you can see what a nice job it does. It takes that shine away and kind of sets everything in place. And I like it also on my forehead. And then for setting under my eyes with this powder, I'm gonna use this Delium Tool 779 brush. And I just like to, first of all, check to make sure there isn't any creasing. I just look up and go over that with my concealer brush, which by the way, I guess I didn't say this is my very favorite brush. It's the Anissa Beauty Angled Concealer Brush. So I'm just gonna go in and make sure that there's no creasing. Take a little bit of powder and then just lightly set this in place. This does a nice job of setting the under eyes as well. I'm gonna actually set my lids as well. Okay, so I like this base. This powder is great. We'll come back to it a little bit later. For bronzer, I picked the Maybelline City Bronzer, which I wonder if any of you have this in your collection. It's beautiful. I am in the shade 100. I'm just gonna use my BK Beauty 103 brush. This is such a pretty bronzer. It's just a nice all over shade. This is pretty light, and it's funny because I've really changed the way I buy bronzer now. I go a little bit deeper with my bronzer and really look for more of a tone than more of a deepness of shade, if that makes sense. But this one kind of, it checks all the boxes of just a beautiful low-key bronzer. And it has a nice, I would say, neutral tone. It's not too cool and it's not too warm. It's a beautiful, beautiful bronzer. And this is why I like doing things like this, because I haven't pulled this in forever, and look at how beautifully it just melts into the skin for a lovely, nice, light bronze. So I've been thoroughly enjoying this Maybelline City Bronze. For my blush this month, I picked this Catrice Mosaic blush. This is their glowing multicolor blush box. And the shade that I have is called It's Wine O'Clock. It's really pretty, kind of all different shades of pink in there. So I just kind of swirl my brush in and just lightly place it, but you can see what a pretty color it is. It's got nice pigment, a little bit of sheen, little bit, but not much. Definitely not sparkle, but a little bit of sheen. You could definitely wear this by itself if you didn't want to wear another highlight. You can see that slight kind of glow on the cheek. Very, very pretty. I've been enjoying this blush very much, and this is such an inexpensive blush, but what a pretty, pretty blush. For my highlight this month, I picked the Milani. This is the Baked Highlighter in Dolce Perla, and this is just a beautiful highlight. I believe it won an Allure Best of Beauty Award. And it's just beautiful. You can see that. It's just subtle, but pretty, and you get that gorgeous sheen. Such a pretty glow. This is a beautiful highlight. So I learned a tip recently that once you're done with your blush and your bronzer, it's almost kind of nice to add a little bit more than you think you might need, and then just take your foundation brush and around the edges, just kind of go over what you just did to kind of tone it down. I used to do this with my powder, but a lot of times that would just add more product on. If you do this, it's just a wonderful way to blend it into exactly the level that you want on your face. So I've been really enjoying that technique where you add a little bit more, because sometimes I'll put my blush on, and then by the time I get to the end of it, I'm like, do I even have any blush on? So it's nice to do this, and you can even do this at the end. You don't have to do it now. I haven't been picking brow products, but I really do enjoy this product from Joa Beauty. This is their Precision Brow Pencil, and I am in the shade Cool Blonde. I've really been enjoying this pencil. I think I'm probably close to the end on this pencil because I've been pulling it so often. It's a great pencil. The only place I've been able to find Joa Beauty other than online is at CVS. Kind of depends on your CVS though, because I've been in some that don't have it and others that do. Okay, for eyes, the palette that I picked is from e.l.f. and this is their Opposites Attract palette. This is relatively new for me. I've had the new Classics palette from e.l.f. for a while, but I wanted to try this one because there's really such pretty shades. And again, you see this and it looks really scary, but if you look over here, you can see it's pretty neutral. And then you've got your pops of the purples and the blues and so forth. I think today I might try this shade Sassy, which is kind of more of a peach shade. Let's see. Might take that all over the lid loosely. These are pigmented, but not like so crazy that you can't blend them and work them through. I like the brightness that this gives to your eyes too. Next, I think I'm going to go into this shade Warm and kind of deepen with that. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to kind of lightly fill in this outer corner and just kind of bring that through the crease a little bit above. And that's blending really nicely in with that peachy shade. It's definitely given a little more dimension. There's a nice little cream shade in this that's called Fresh. I'm going to just kind of use that to go over what we just did. Soften it. For the lid, I think I might go into this shade here called Daring. This is a little bit of a deeper shimmer. It's more of like a satin. But I think it will be pretty. It's a little deeper color. I'm just going to build it up a little bit. I really like that. I think that's really nice. I really like the way that turned out. This is very fun, and of course there's all these purpley colors, which I don't usually use, but I should try one. I need to try it sometime, but I really am enjoying using this e.l.f. palette. I did pick an eye pencil from Pixie, and this is the, I think it's called Copper Glow, which should go very nicely with the eye look we just did. These pencils are very nice. They're very soft, so just be careful. They're really easy to work with, but I find that a lot of times I need a brush just to kind of soften them. And then they're very easy to just kind of pull like a baby wing out of. It has a little bit of that glow, that copper glow, which is really pretty. These are really nice. You can find these at Target, so I guess they're sort of drugstore, sort of not, but I really do like those Pixie eye pencils. I'm gonna curl my lashes. I didn't pick a drugstore mascara, but I'm gonna be using this e.l.f. Big Mood mascara, which I've been recently trying. This mascara is really good. This is one coat and you can see how crazy big it is. Really nice. If you like a volumizing mascara, you will really like this e.l.f. Big Mood. Okay, so that is my finished look with all of my drugstore products from my Shop My Stash September 2021. Did you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite out of this group? I'm enjoying using my products up. If I had to pick a couple of highlights from this month, this powder is fabulous. I think the Maybelline City Bronzer is really good. I'm glad I'm using that again. I'm loving the blush from Catrice. This e.l.f. palette is a lot of fun and I'm enjoying it. I need to venture to this side. And all of them have been really good. I don't think the only dud that I have in the bunch is the one that you can't find anymore. So that's pretty good. So I hope you guys are doing well, and I would love for you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click that notification bell and you'll be notified anytime I post a new video. I'm so glad to have you here and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.